Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of season 3 of The Summer I Turned Swiftie. I'm Catherine McKenzie, also known as Catherine Mack.
I'm Jessica Strasser.
I think you need to come up with like a fake identity. And we are two USA Today bestselling authors. Like many, Jessica and I were transfixed by the last season of The Summer I Turned Pretty and the global phenomenon that it became. The show is steeped in Taylor Swift songs, Easter eggs, and parallels to classic movies and TV shows. And now that a movie has been announced and starts filming in April, we're doing a once-a-week rewatch and discussion of all of the above with a Swiftie, which is me, and Swiftie adjacent Jessica here.
I'm a girl who just wants to have fun.
Oh, that is not like a Cyndi Lauper song. But anyway, please like, subscribe, share the show with friends. As some of you know, we made our goal of hitting 500 subscribers on YouTube, but we would love to reach 1,000 before the movie came out. We are at 542 as of today's recording. Thanks to everyone who joined us for our live premiere last week. It was fun chatting with all of you in the comments. We'll see if we do that again. It's like a lot of work to keep up with that. But it was fun to see all of you. A couple of like movie cast general updates, not follow-ups from last week. One, many of you have asked several times, we do have a playlist on Spotify of all the songs that we mention on the show. It's called The Summer I Turned Swiftie. So if you search for it on Spotify, you can find it. At some point, I'll get organized and put it on Apple as well. Personal little plug, my book, Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies, is actually being serialized as a podcast. It's the Case Closed podcast on all podcast platforms except for YouTube, I think. So that's fun. There's 2 episodes being posted every week starting this week. So if you're an audio listener of books, Elizabeth Evans is the narrator and she's fantastic. It's not me, guys, okay? So, because, there are professionals who do this for a living. Lola, Chris, Laurel, Steven, and Minnie were at another Lunar New Year's party. I don't know what was going on this year with the Lunar New Year parties. Maybe I just never paid attention before, but it feels like was one every day for like 2 weeks. Still no picture of all of them together, which I am mad about. Somebody has that damn picture in their phone. Just release the tape. Anyway, and Chris also was papped yesterday in New York filming his movie, Clashing Through the Snow, in his baseball cap that he always wears, flashing a peace sign. I don't know. He's so millennial. Somebody mentioned that there was a infinity symbol in the card that Steven got, the Get Well card. So I had to go like back and freeze frame on the card and look at everything. So there is somebody's signature. It might be Adam's that I guess kind of looks like an infinity symbol, but it's not like somebody deliberately drew an infinity symbol. What's weird is that Jer signed the card, but Jer didn't work at Break. Yeah, so I think it's a little continuity error. Unless there's somebody else who has a signature that looks like Jer. Denise made a funny in the card, obviously. But both Jer and Adam just signed their names without saying, like, get well soon, which seems about right. Somebody mentioned that maybe Belly dressed up for the memorial because of the video stream that they had mentioned that she thought Conrad was going to be watching. And I'm like, oh, I like this theory. This is a good theory. I think that is correct. And we also forgot to mention, of course, that, every time she thinks of him, he appears. It was also when Jeremiah was talking about the wedding that Conrad suddenly appeared. So, I think if we want to follow that logic, Jeremiah was like, what kind of flowers do you want for the wedding? Which is foreshadowing, obviously. And she's like, I don't know. Who cares? Pretty ones. And then she looks up and Conrad is there because I'm sure wedding in her mind brings her to Conrad, as we will learn later. So those are the follow-ups. Thank you, as always, for your comments and interest in our show. Okay. The more I hate the episodes, the longer the summary gets.
You hated this episode?
I mean, hate is a strong word. I think there's lots of interesting and important things that are going on. There's a lot of setup in this episode, but I like the end of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, by the end, you're like, oh, it's starting to get good. Here we go.
At the end. Oh, it's on at the end. But I don't love this episode. But anyway, let's go. This episode is called Last Stand. The word of the year is last, because this is the last time we're going to have to see Belly and Jeremiah.
That's why. Yeah.
That's why, obviously. In the last episode, Belly put on a Band-Aid because she cut herself, making herself pretty, which is definitely a metaphor. Now we're putting on a Band-Aid on her blisters, which is also a metaphor, because it only took 2 weeks of being engaged to Jeremiah for her feet to start falling apart.
Yeah, and it did go from like this playful, youthful Band-Aid to just a boring old
Yeah,
regular grown-up Band-Aid.
utilitarian. Yeah, yeah. So it's 2 weeks later and it's Belly's birthday. So that means, and we find out in this episode that her birthday is on June 25th, because when her dad texts her later on, we can see the happy birthday text from Friday. And the only Friday in 2027, June, was the 25th. So that means the memorial was in early June, 2 weeks earlier. Belly is working hard in a restaurant. Jeremiah is in, and how'd she get the job so quickly when she was supposed to be in Cousins? But whatever, Jeremiah is interning for his dad. Which again, coming back to that whole like he signed the card before he was even working there. Was he always planning on working there? I don't know. Jeremiah calls her for her birthday and sings to her sort of at the office. He found a pacifier on his desk and is being called Nepo baby. He's pretty sure his dad left it. When she says she's saving every penny for their wedding fund, he says, "I'm so hot for you right now." Ew, gross. Her parents are both anti-wedding, no shit. But it's 6 weeks into the wedding and there's still time to fix it. There's still time to drop out, Belly. That's what there's still time to do. She says it doesn't even feel like my birthday, probably because I'm not in Cousins. So we get the impression that this is actually the first birthday of hers that she didn't spend in Cousins. But next year you will have the best birthday of your life, Belly. Just hang on. Belly's parents make her special Mickey Mouse pancakes and they give her a bottle of wine they say for this occasion from the year that she was born. She mentions drinking it with Jer, and then she invites Laurel wedding dress shopping, but Laurel won't go. She thinks they're too young to get married. And then after Belly leaves, she and John have a fight, and Laurel says, "Trust me, this wedding is not happening." You know what? I do trust Laurel.
She also tells him to not fuck her over.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I know that whole exchange is weird. Jeremiah tries to get close to his dad at work and says that Belly's favorite food is shin ramen. So I think we're going to be fine either way when when his dad mentions that they don't have money. Seriously, Jer? Adam gives him a death stare. I love that. Adam grows on me. Jer asks his dad if he should put down a +1 for the wedding invitations, which I had never clocked before, which is also setting something up. And then right afterwards, we meet Kaylee, the famous Kaylee that he cheated on. She looks 12, and she actually kind of looks like she has a thing for Jeremiah in that first scene. Like she's complimenting Jeremiah on his suit. I think it's because she's trying to ingratiate herself. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I think she's just trying to be like the only person who's nice to him. But
I agree. But at first it came off as flirting, and then I realized who it was. So I was like, oh no. Okay. There's more salon drama with Taylor's mom, Yawn. Second worst plot in the show right after Starcade X. I don't know why there was never any memes about Starcade X. Like, can somebody who does memes make one? I think it would be funny. Jeremiah asks Steven to be his best man, well, co-best man. But that's after Steven tells him to wait a decade and says getting married at 21 is a little crazy, no? He has to get Conrad on the phone also, which he hasn't been able to do. I think Steven was more excited about this proposal than Belly was. Like the best man proposal. She does go wedding dress shopping with Taylor and Taylor's mom at prom. Promises. Really? The promises we made at prom? Oh my God. So her wedding to Jeremiah is going to be a prom do-over. As I sent Jessica, somebody pointed out on Twitter yesterday that this means that we have never seen Belly in a wedding dress. We've only seen her in prom dresses. So we have saved a real wedding dress for her real wedding, which will be to Conrad. And Taylor tells her mom to stop saying slay. She does find a dress, which is pretty, but she's sad her mom isn't there. She cries to Jeremiah on the phone about it. But he says he has good news, and she says, "You talked to Conrad?" No. Taylor's also supposed to go to an internship in New York, but doesn't end up going because of said salon drama. Jeremiah shows up with an ice cream cake and gives her a key to the summer house. Okay, Jeremiah, that was like maybe the nice gift. He brings flowers for Laurel and forces a cheesy group hug. And then they have this whole conversation where he can't get his words out. And then he tells Laurel he knows she always wanted him as a son-in-law. And Laurel says, "No, not like this. My mom would have wanted this, and we'll never know what your mother would have wanted." Like, just say you don't want her to marry Jeremiah, okay? Belly and Laurel have a massive fight where Belly is screaming like a little kid, and she leaves with Jeremiah. They drive to Cousins and fall asleep on the couch in the room where it happened, and she wakes up and Conrad is there. They both flash back to Christmas where he says Belly and drops the candy cane, and she says Conrad in the same tone of voice. He turns, but before that, he's already turned towards her because of their invisible string. We'll talk about whose point of view this memory is, but anyway, it's both of them at Christmas. And then Jeremiah, "Conrad, what the fuck?" He has been there apparently since they forgot about him at lunch. He needed a minute. He's been ignoring Jer's calls. We all needed a minute, Conrad. I don't blame you. He wanted to go offline for a bit. Belly looks really confused when Conrad is talking. And this is like beginner of investigator Belly, because she ends up asking him over this episode and the next episode 4 different times, I think, about what the fuck he's doing this summer. And he finally opens up to her. But anyway, Conrad is looking at Belly. He clocks when she holds hands with Jeremiah. He lies about his job, which Belly clocks. They know each other, right? Belly correctly intuits that there must be something else going on, some big Conrad secret, she calls it. And she and Jeremiah discuss her going somewhere else, but they end up deciding that she's going to stay there. And Jeremiah also says, who knows why Conrad does anything, whatever. Jeremiah is pushing her to stay there, right? Conrad goes on his run and then talks to Agnes on the phone. He refers to Belly as his brother's fiance. He can't even say her name. Agnes is like, are you still hiding out back east? Which is interesting. Like, why is she hiding it? Why is he hiding out back east? He could have just gone to California. And Conrad starts his little narrative about them getting married. They've known each other basically their whole lives. Conrad gets a job, but he's not taking that job. Conrad is wearing the burgundy t-shirt that Jeremiah wore in season 1. That was Conrad's when he went to the party. Anyway, Jeremiah's surfboard is red and Conrad's is blue. I don't know. Color theory in this episode is wackadoodle. Jeremiah and Conrad go surfing, and Jeremiah asks him to be his best man. Conrad tells him that getting married is ridiculous. You guys are still in college. Everyone's voice is like up, like, you guys are still in college. This is ridiculous. Belly swims laps in a blue and red bathing suit. Okay, that I get. And Belly is furious at the ridiculous line. What? Again, her voice is like squeaky.
It is really high.
What? What? Oh, yeah. Why does he even care so much? What is his problem? Girl.
Gee, I wonder why.
Girl. He tries to apologize while wearing his, he's got his blue and white striped towel over his shoulder, but she won't hear it.
Also, Conrad's not the only one who cares. Everybody has reacted the same exact way.
Exactly. So, good point. She's like, yeah, whatever, Conrad, and walks away. Laurel and John have a heart-to-heart. She lost herself by getting married and having kids too young, and she doesn't want that for Belly. Like, okay, but John's going to go to the wedding. So he is fucking Laurel. Actually, he did fuck Laurel. Anyway.
I think he is kind of like, because, yeah, when she said, don't fuck me over, did she mean do not support this, do not go to the wedding? And then he's kind of like, you told Belly you weren't going to go no matter what. Like, if this happens, and I think it's happening, I will be there.
I will be there. And they do sleep together at the wedding. So that night, Jeremiah and Belly are in the pool. They're watching Speed. This is clearly not a movie that Belly cares about.
It's funny that you noticed what they were watching. I didn't even notice.
Of course I noticed. How many times do you think I've watched this show? They are making the ridiculous joke. Again, high squeaky voices. And Conrad, up in his little room, hears them and books a flight. Jessica, here we go. It's the flights. The flights are coming.
Oh, here they come. Yeah.
Here they come. The flights that are never used. The next morning, Jeremiah leaves her with Conrad, and he'll be back the next weekend for the 4th. She goes to her room, and she remembers being tight with her mom with her Deb ball dress, which looks like a wedding dress. And then we get a flashback to her getting her own room with Susanna. And the boys, I think Jeremiah and Steven, are making scary noises at night because they're coming from Jeremiah's room. Conrad would never. The wallpaper is shipped in from Paris, and blue is her favorite color. And she starts to cry and curls up on her bed and is crying. And Conrad is coming to tell Belly goodbye this time. He actually walks down the hall to her room. He wasn't going to just leave like a ghost, but he hears her crying and he cannot make himself leave. He puts his hand against the door. I think he just wanted to go crawl into bed with her and put his arms around her, but propriety. Anyway, she wakes up hours later and she's missed a bunch of calls and texts from Jeremiah, which tell her that Conrad has agreed to be the best man. And instead of calling Jeremiah back, she rushes downstairs like at Christmas, but she knows Conrad's there, yelling his name this time, Conrad! And there he is in the kitchen looking very fine. And he's cleaning up after baking, and they have a conversation where she thanks him, and he's like, yeah, I think you guys are good together, which obviously he's lying. But she says, thank you for your support. It means a lot to Jer and to me. And then, their little shtick. He tosses the towel. She catches it perfectly. He's going to the store. And then she realizes that the cake plate, which was empty at Christmas, is now full of dirt bombs. And she's like, wait, do you bake now? And he's like, only on special occasions. Happy belated birthday, Belly. you remembered? I always remember. And then she says, thank you, and launches herself into his arms in the glowy light as he thinks, what have I done? And the music has also shifted to his point of view in the kitchen. And this man has been trying to give her muffins for 5 years, and he had to make them himself for her to accept one. Yeah. Okay. And the world was in shambles. The live watch parties with the what have I done? Like, do you remember that moment when we got
remember.
that voiceover? Yeah.
I mean, let's recap. She's acting all cheerful, obnoxiously so, when Jer is there,
Yeah.
making fun of Conrad, in earshot of Conrad.
Yeah.
All chipper with Jer when he goes home. Then we see how she really feels, which is devastated about how all of this is going down, which she has not let Jer see.
Yes.
She's in her room crying, and she presumably cries herself to sleep and has herself a little mid-morning nap. And during that nap, Conrad calls Jeremiah, says he'll be the best man, even though he doesn't want to, cancels his flight. Does he get miles or money? We have no idea.
Jessica's very concerned.
I'm very stressed out about the.
She wants to see his credit
flight.
card statement.
I want to see him check that little trip insurance box. Okay. And bakes her dirt bomb muffins from scratch. I mean, all along, I thought the muffins were coming from some kind of bakery.
They were.
So he's just like, cannot bear to see her unhappy. How can I fix it? Even though it's going to make me absolutely miserable. I'm going to agree to things I don't want to do. I'm going to make this wedding seem like a good idea. I'm going to bake her favorite muffins for her belated birthday. I mean, Connie, baby.
Oh, this is why the world loves him, though.
I know. Just that one line, just that what have I done? Because you don't really know for sure until that. And then it's like you're putting it together. Like, wait.
Well, you do know.
You did what?
Yeah. And I think if you take
you don't know until she goes downstairs. He could have gone to the airport still and called Jeremiah and said,
okay, you're right. Well, no, I knew he wasn't leaving. When he laid his hand against the door like he was touching her,
he was like, I'm going to cry too.
I knew he wasn't leaving. But to pick up what you were saying about the crying, because she does cry to Jer twice. She does cry to Jer. She tries to open up to Jer after the wedding dress shopping, right? And she's like, my mom's not here. I don't know if I can do this without both of our moms. And then he brings up his mom, I think, like without both of our moms, right? And then, or is that later? But anyway, she opens up about her mom. She's crying about the dress. And then he tries to cheer her up with like, oh, well, Steven agreed to be best man, as if these are equivalent things, you know? Like he doesn't get her. Like the Shin Ramen point also is like he's still not getting her. Like, yes, I'm sure she does eat a lot of Shin Ramen because Belly can eat crap. That's fine. But like the look Adam gives him is it's more than all the words that Laurel says about this. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? This is not.
Well, Adam has that great line where he's like, Jer is like, thanks again, by the way, for giving me this job. And Adam's like, now that you are going to be a husband, lifeguarding's not going to cut it. Just like the way he puts it into perspective, like, do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? This was your actual plan.
Yeah. You know? Though, isn't it an unpaid internship? Like, he's not getting paid. No, it's clear he's not getting paid.
But presumably it's leading to, inroads at this someplace other than the country club, right?
Yes. Well, he gets a stipend, which he's going to give to Belly to go buy 2 drinks that night. Like,
yeah.
Don't you have a trust fund, dude? Where's your trust fund?
To be fair, when Belly is fighting with Laurel upstairs after Jeremiah tries to talk to her and it doesn't work, they show his face and he's hearing it all go down. He's upset. But I do think some of that is he's a little bit personally offended by what's going on.
Obviously he's upset, right?
That Belly's upset. He's upset that Laurel's upset.
I think he's upset that Laurel isn't like, yes, I want you to marry my daughter. Once again, she asks what's the hurry? Why do you need to get married now? Nobody has an answer for that question because, again, they're lying to everyone. They can't be like, yeah, well, Jared cheated, and so this is how we're repairing our relationship is we have to overcompensate.
She actually even does say, I actually think in that talk, it's awkward. Parts of it are so cringy when Jeremiah thinks he's just going to charm her. But she does say, if you just push this to next summer when you've graduated and you still want to do it next summer, I will fully support you. And that's pretty reasonable. She didn't say push it 5 years, push it until you're in the real world. She literally just said, and at that moment, they could have easily been like, okay, If that's what it takes to get our families on board, it's really important to us to have our family. It wouldn't have been, accepting defeat
Yeah.
or anything like that. She gave them a really good opportunity to agree to that plan,
Well, and I
and
think
they
that
did
that's
not.
like the evidence that they're not like that there's something going else is going on here because like
Yes.
again, you know, Conrad says the same thing, right? He and Laurel often make the same points, which is you're still in college. Like, why do you need to get married still in college? What is going on? That's why everyone thinks Belly's pregnant because there's like this weird rush to do this. When what's the hurry? If you're going to be together forever, get married next year, you know? So and they never can give a good answer to that, either one of them. I think though, like to talk about Jared in that scene, like the emotional manipulation is really on like my mom and the family and like she wanted us to be a family and this is what my mom would have wanted and he's like pulling out all the stops here. So not to convince Laurel based on like here's why I asked her to marry me, you know? Like, I think there was a way, I'm not saying Laura would have changed her mind, but I think there was a way for he could have said some things in this scene, which would have been like, this is why I want to be married to Billy. This is why just living together is not enough. Like, I want to start my adult life. And yes, I know I have another semester of college, but I'm getting a job and I'm going to be a grown up and blah, 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 blah. And instead, and we see this like in the episode that you're going to summarize is he's like, oh, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I only know I want Belly, like says Belly. It's just Belly, 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 Belly. He just wants to own Belly because he almost lost Belly. And now he just needs to like own her permanently. And he thinks if they get married, then he can't lose her, which is obviously ridiculous because there's divorce, but that's his thought process.
I think you're right. I don't know whether there's anything he could have said there that would have changed Laurel's mind, but it could have gone better. It could have gone way better. He has this way of thinking he's helping something and digging himself into a bigger hole. And I think last week in our comments, a lot of people were bringing up, we just kind of hadn't gotten there yet. And we're still not all the way there. But a lot of people were kind of bringing up the trauma bond between Belly and Jer and the layers of that. There's like the Susanna layer of that. And there's the what happened to Steven layer of that. I mean, they literally got engaged outside of an emergency room. If that's not a trauma bond, I'm not sure what is. But he says the wording is such a red flag to me. He says, when my mom died, I felt like I wouldn't be anyone's person again. And in the middle of everything falling apart, Belly picked me. He does not say in the middle of everything falling apart, Belly was there for me in a way no one else was. He doesn't say in a way of everything falling apart, I realized that Belly was the only person I wanted by my side while all this was going on. He says Belly picked me. And what he means is picked me over Conrad. That's why he wants to marry Belly. He's like revealing more about himself than he realizes. Like,
well, that happens
stop.
Every time we hear Jeremiah's perspective,
Exactly.
Right? But even worse than that, to me, he doesn't say we fell in love. He doesn't say like, that's when we realize like how much we loved one another. It's like, it's about a choice. Like she picked me. We clung to one another and got through this together. Like, okay, but what does that have to do with lasting love to get married? Like, and be grown-ups and have adult responsibility, Yeah, that was never going to convince her, but I think they didn't have to come away from there with like a screaming fight and Belly being a child and then running out of there in the middle of the night, in her pajama shorts and gray sweatshirt. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, so let's talk about favorite scenes and just sort of a revelation, I guess, that I had watching this for the first time that I hadn't really thought about before, but I think this episode is actually really about Belly and Laurel.
Mm-hmm.
Both of Belly's voiceovers are about her relationship with her mother. And the flashback also, Susanna is there, but the flashback is about the times where Laurel showed up for Belly. So Belly talks about the dress. And that was when, they had picked a different dress, but Laurel went and got the dress that Belly actually wanted and that looked like Belly. And then in the room, when we see that flashback, Laurel is like, Belly's not ready to sleep alone. And Susanna's like, of course she is, And it's Susanna or it's Laurel who comes and gets into bed with Belly. So this is all about like her relationship with her mother. And then conversely, Laurel's relationship with John, maybe some insight into why the marriage fell apart. She says she feels like she was lost in her relationship. She lost herself. I mean, I don't see that. Obviously, we're just seeing a grown-up Laurel, like, what did you lose exactly? But we find out later that she got pregnant by accident with Steven, right? So when she got married, I think she felt like she had to. So I think, it's an interesting journey that they're on here where part of why Belly is all of the whole reason Belly's so upset, other than the fact that she's marrying Jeremiah, is because Laurel won't support the choice. And I think it's because deep down she knows that Laurel knows her and knows that, like, this is not what Belly actually wants, right? Because remember back to the dead ball when Belly and Laurel and Conrad are dancing, and Laurel says, "For Belly, Conrad is the sun, and when the sun comes out, the stars disappear." Like, she knows. She also knows that Conrad's in love with Belly. Like, Laurel has all the information too. We've talked about which characters have all the information. Laurel just keeps it to herself, and it comes out in petulance and control, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she knows she can't say any of it out loud. If she were to say, "Are you
Yeah.
sure you're not still in love with Conrad?" You know,
Mm.
that wouldn't go over well. What? We
What?
would have some high voices again.
Yeah,
But I
I
do
guess.
think, like, there's an interesting contrast because you were saying how you find the subplot with Taylor and her mom, like, annoying and we don't need it.
Unnecessary?
Yeah, I'm like, what is the word for when you don't need something?
Unnecessary.
But I do think it's kind of an interesting contrast here where
Mhm.
we have two young adults foregoing their plans, right? Belly and
Yeah,
Taylor both have
yeah,
something happened that's going to change their plans. But and Taylor's situation is really not unfair. Her own mom keeps pointing out, this isn't fair. I'm the mom. I don't need you to take care of me. I don't want you to give up these things. You shouldn't have done this without talking to me. But we see at this crossroads, Taylor is really kind of like, she's kind of switching places with her mom. Like, well, you might not want this, but you need this. And she's growing up. She's showing that she can move forward. She can find a way to grow forward, even if it's not that internship in New York City. She's like, no,
yeah,
I'm going to help you figure this out instead. And this is what we're going to do. And this is how you raised me. And this is the kind of person I am. And I'm not going to leave you in the lurch like this. Whereas Belly is acting like she's trying to grow forward. Like, I'm a grown up now and I'm going to get married and I'm ready. But what she's actually doing is like regressing into this teenage behavior, butting heads with her mom and everyone else around her,
yeah,
because it's not the right decision for her. And she
yeah,
knows deep down it's not the right decision. And her mom knows deep down it's not the right decision. So she's trying to act like she's making better plans and ready for all this forward progress. But like, there are very good reasons that none of this is falling into place. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think that's right. Taylor is definitely acting. I don't think this is the first time Taylor has had to act like an adult with her mom.
No. Yeah.
She's been the parent in that family for a long time, but she definitely is stepping up on a personal level. I think it's interesting too how she rejects Steven's help. And normally, I think with her and Steven, she's rejecting Steven because that's like vulnerable. But this I actually think is right. She's like, no, you're not my partner. Like, we're not even in a
Right.
relationship. Like, I'm not accepting that help. I'm going to fix this myself. I'm going to put my own dreams on hold to help my mom. So, no, I mean, I agree with you, and she's also like, "Let's go wedding dress shopping. Let's do this." She's trying to, like, fill the gap in Belly's life, kind of being her surrogate mom in a way, like, pushing her to try on another dress, do the things, like, I think that that's all good. I just think that her overall advice to Belly is still bad, right? She's not like,
Yeah.
"Hey, maybe you should hit pause if your mom's not on board. Like, your mom has a good head on her shoulders. Maybe
Yeah.
we should listen to her."
What's so wrong with waiting until next summer? And I also think it's very telling, as you pointed out before, the dynamic between Belly and Jeremiah. The only place we see Belly being the adult in the room is with Jeremiah. She's the one who keeps saying, where'd you get this money? We agreed to spend our money for our wedding. Like,
Yeah.
I'm saving every penny for this.
Yes.
No, I don't need you to buy me rum and cokes. Like,
Yeah.
this is it. She's, yeah, kind of mothering him
Yeah.
is the only place that
Yeah.
that behavior is
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What was your favorite scene?
I mean, besides the very last minute,
It's the best minute of the show, obviously.
yeah. I mean, like the obvious choice.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, that actually is my favorite scene for sure.
Of course. Of
I
course.
liked Jeremiah being harassed at the office. Honestly, I felt like that kind of served a purpose because,
It did.
I mean, I don't feel sorry for him. And I don't think he feels that sorry for himself either. Like, he kind of knows. But, I honestly think he needs to be put in his place like this. He needs for people to be saying stuff to him. Like, lifeguarding wasn't going to cut it. And, like calling him out on the fact that he had no plan and really still has no plan and really needs to get his shit together if he's going to go through with this. Like,
Yeah.
I think he needs it. It's a little bit harsh, but I think
No, he
he needs
definitely
it.
needs it. I think there was a nice little micro moment at the office where Denise gets asked to like put together the charcuterie plate or something. And she's like, that's, you're asking me because I'm the woman. And like, I've been there. So it's like, but he's the intern and he's only been here 6 months. But no, of course, I have to go do this. So I like that little micro moment. But yeah, of course, the best moment in the show is that whole sequence of her waking up to Landslide. And we'll talk about Landslide in a minute. But, Landslide is playing, and it just shows I think the different level of care that the two brothers have towards Belly and like what she needs. And when Conrad sees her crying, like he literally cannot bring himself to leave. And not only that, then he's like, okay, I need to make this like as nice as possible for her. So as you said, picks up the phone, immediately calls Jeremiah, where he's probably like still in Cousins in his car, driving back to Boston, and is like, okay, forget it. I apologize. I'll be your best man. We see all that off screen. And then he's like, okay, how else can I make this better for Belly? And he doesn't even just go to the store and get the good muffins. He's like, no, I'm going to make the good muffins. This from a man who we know only knows how to grill chicken. So like, and this, like, I imagine waking up to the smell too of like the cinnamon and the baking. And like, he just wants to make Belly happy. And he says that in other episodes. Like he just wants her to be happy, right? And she is happy, right? Again, it's such a repeat of the Christmas moment. Again, her flying down the stairs, she doesn't hurt herself this time, but her finding, he's there both times. He doesn't have wet hair. It's the only thing that's missing from this scene is if his hair was somehow magically wet. He just like dunked his head in that'd be a little too on the nose. But yeah, he's just there, making things okay for her. And then he proceeds to also do that for the rest of the summer. He makes the house okay, for her. And he's also the one, like, if we come back to the key, which is a nice gesture of Jeremiah's, except for like Conrad is the one who the whole show was always like, this house is as much yours as ours when it was up for sale in season 2. Like, how did Belly not already have a key? Like from years and years ago. And clearly when she went at Christmas, I guess she used the key under the rock outside, which is why Conrad needed her to open the door when he got there because the key wasn't there, So I just think it's such a nice little bookend moment, and like the metaphor of the empty muffin plate now being filled with muffins. I just wanted to see Belly actually take a bite of a damn muffin for once. Is it good? Was the muffin good, Belly? So yeah. And just the light in the kitchen, and then really the brilliant narrative shift to it being, it being his voiceover is so great. And really this whole season, we've had multiple moments of it being from their point of view, both of them. And we got another one here too. Like the other moment that I really love is that waking up moment. So again, she's waking up on the couch. It's not the couch, it's the other couch in the room, but waking up on the couch, he's coming through the shot, he's blurred. And did she wake up thinking about Conrad? And then he appeared, right? And then do they both flash back to the moment at Christmas? Is it Belly's flashback? Also unclear. And then Conrad is standing in front of, I think, my favorite painting of Susanna's in the entranceway, which is that painting of Adam from the back with the two boys on the beach, but that clearly was painted based off of Conrad, like off of Chris Briney, like it's just his physical. So it's like she's looking at Conrad and at her future, I think. And then just the way she echoes and says his name. Yeah, I think that little moment is also really good, which Jeremiah then has to jump in and ruin. As always, but like literally, and even there, right? She's the big spoon. Like Jeremiah is like sleeping on her. Ow! He's like tall boy, probably weighs like
Oh my
185
gosh.
pounds. Like,
That is
how
so funny.
right? Like she's
He's
literally
like in her lap.
he is in her lap. Even though she's the one who had to run away from home and was like, should be at least be getting comforted by him. No, he's in her lap, like, because that's not the natural way for a boy and a girl to sleep on a couch, but it is them, and that's a deliberate choice, right? So, and yeah, and I think that's their little bubble, like those tiny little moments. I've talked a lot about the moments that they have when no one else is around. And they've had two of those little moments in this season where other people are there. And they still manage to have these little bubble moments where it is only them in the room, which I think is really well done. I mean, if Jeremiah notices that Conrad is looking at Belly a lot and looking at them holding hands, like he's clocked all of that. But imagine if he knew all the rest of it. He doesn't even know the rest of it, you know? So yeah, there's nice little moments. Yeah, I know. I need the movie. I need it. I need it now. All right, least favorite scene?
Belly and Jeremiah mocking Conrad when he can hear them upstairs is rough on me. It's rough. I mean,
it's so rough. Ridiculous. How did he say it again? Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Okay, first of all, it is ridiculous.
I mean, they are drunk. It is ridiculous. They are drunk. They are, I think, drinking that bottle of wine that Belly got for her birthday, I think. But
I hope she's not drinking that without her parents.
Oh, they're drinking.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. But they're drinking something. They are drunk.
Conrad, the thing about that scene when they're surfing, Conrad is actually trying really hard. It's going to be hard to say anything correct in that moment. And Jeremiah has cornered him. He tried to not go. He tried to not, he's been avoiding his calls. He tries to not go out. Jeremiah calls him out. Conrad's like, of course, let me go change. And they go out there and he doesn't want to lie. We've talked about this before. Conrad's a pretty honest guy with the people that he cares about. And he does care about Jeremiah. Yeah. And he's saying it as gently as he can. And he doesn't say, you are ridiculous. He says, when you think about it, it's kind of ridiculous to get married. He's talking about the fact that they're still in college. And I just felt like Conrad was trying in that scene to choose his words carefully. It comes back to haunt him. He's like mortified as soon as he finds out that's the part Jeremiah repeated to Belly. He's like, I don't think you are ridiculous. Like, I didn't mean it like that. But just them mocking him, it's just rough. I just feel sorry for Conrad.
Right. But it's such a full circle moment because remember in Belly and Jeremiah's fight when they broke up, he says, you think I'm ridiculous? Like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, you think everything I do is ridiculous, right? So ridiculous is like a triggering word for Jeremiah, who remember, knows about Christmas and is still doing everything he can to try and get Belly to admit about Christmas and why wouldn't you stay here? Because Conrad's here. He's going to be leaving, blah, blah, blah. And there's Conrad using the same word, right? Like, what's going through his mind? Like, did they talk about me? Does she think I'm ridiculous? Did she tell Conrad I was ridiculous? I actually maybe have a tiny bit of empathy for Jeremiah in that moment. And then but I like the way, Conrad turns it on its head in the kitchen where he's like, you're ridiculously welcome.
I know. What a good sport.
What a good sport.
Seriously, though, that's just a way of being like, I'm sorry for what I said. And I also heard you making fun of me last night. And I still have made you these muffins.
This is how much I love you. Hello. I'm going to show you again because I thought you knew. I'm going to show you.
I thought you knew.
I think you know. I think you've always known. But then that becomes, I thought you've always known, right? That's what happens in episode 8. But I think also, when Conrad is like, oh, the wedding, that's still happening, huh? Or that's happening. Like, the wedding. He is acting different. When Jeremiah is around, I think he has to just contain himself so much.
I mean, they did forget him at the restaurant.
I know, fuck. And then also,
he's right where they left him.
Ouch. We need to talk about the Hammy of it all, too. But anyway, here we go. Well, this is a good lead-in because a lot of people were like, no, Hammy was a deliberate choice because Belly and Conrad together are very hammy. Like, she's always hamming it up. She's exaggerated when she's around him. And a perfect example is not only the making fun of Conrad, but before that was when she's like, he thinks we're two little kids and some big grown up at Stanford Medical School.
I really did not like that line either.
I know. So yeah, it's just, I don't know why Belly has to be a child. She regresses with Jeremiah to a Belly we've never seen before, and we never would, but when we meet Belly when she's almost 16 years old, she's not like that. Yes, they get into, her and her Steven fight like that. Fine. Steven's her brother. That's normal, But just, anyway, I don't know. She just always has to make Jeremiah happy. Jeremiah's not ever trying to make her happy. Even the, Oreo cake that he got her, she's like, oh, I'm going to eat the Oreos. She doesn't want the ice cream cake. She's like, the Oreos are mine, like, is that what she wanted? She wanted Sour Patch Kids, or she wanted like a sleeve of Oreos, and you went and got her an Oreo cake. You don't even know her. Even this, again, I don't know, I'm so fixated on the Shin Ramen comment, but like, is that we've never see Belly actually ever eat Shin Ramen in the show, like not one time. So I don't know. Anyway, I also think like we have Belly is being obtuse about why Conrad isn't happy about the wedding. And then we haven't talked, actually, the actual worst moment is Belly giving up her dream of Paris and Jeremiah
Yeah.
immediately being okay
That.
with it. Oh, that little detail. We skipped over that. But, I mean, that's probably the worst moment in the show. Like, obviously, it hurts me when they're in the pool and they're laughing at Conrad and he's up in his little room all alone. Like, that hurts me personally. Like, I am Conrad. But the worst moment in their relationship is her saying, like, I don't want to go to Paris just right after we get married and not be together for 5 months, which, like, okay, so don't get married. The answer isn't don't give up Paris. The answer is, hey, could we get married next summer instead? So I can go to Paris and everyone
then
can
my
calm
mom can
down.
support us and your dad will be on
Right.
board. And yeah.
Right. Because they planned nothing at this point. They spent no money. And Jeremiah could be like, you know what? No, don't cancel Paris. Let's move the wedding. Let's take the pressure off. Let's regulate the situation. No,
Yeah,
because
you're right that this order of things doesn't feel right. But the thing that needs to move isn't Paris. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for you. And I think it is a little bit of a test. He easily could have been like, absolutely not.
You're still going to Paris. Yeah, you're going to Paris. Yeah.
But when he says, even if he had said, if that's what you want, it's your decision. I think that still would have left the door open. But when he's like, oh, thank God, I really didn't want you to go. It feels so definitive. Like she's never going to be able to bring it back up to him because then it would be letting him down if she changed her mind. Right. So when he's like, oh, thank God, because I really didn't want you to go. That just feels like the nail in the Paris coffin right there. Like this is definitive. This is decided. This is not,
Yeah, and just the way he's
Yeah.
like, oh, good, because I don't want you to go either. If we think back to that conversation she had with Steven back in episode 1 of this season, where Steven was like, give Jer, a chance to do the right thing. And then he does the right thing at first, but the minute he has the opportunity to walk that back, he does.
Exactly. Yeah.
Conrad would have said, go to Paris. This is, first of all, Conrad would not have rushed her into getting married, but he also would have been like, no, you're still going to Paris. We're making that happen. Obviously.
Yeah.
It's not either or.
Yeah. And Steven, yeah. I mean, I love she has that line. We don't hear him say it, but she's telling Jer about it. How he's like, maybe Steven can talk to your parents and talk some sense to him. And she's like, I think Steven's exact words were, love you, but fuck no.
Yeah.
It's like Steven can be talked into like accepting that things are happening, but he's not gonna like cheerlead for you. And
Steven is still telling them to wait, the whole time.
I mean, he does get sucked in by the idea of planning a bachelor party, but he still doesn't think it's a great idea.
Immediately after he says like you should be getting married in 10 years. So
yeah, exactly. He still says all that, and then he's like, I guess I'll do it, but don't tell my mom. Still.
Don't tell mommy. Favorite line? Is that your favorite line? I love you, but fuck no.
No, it was you're ridiculously welcome, obviously. But there were some other good lines, I thought, telling lines. I liked the line during the surfing talk where Jer says to Conrad, I wouldn't want you standing next to me on my wedding day if you had to fake it. Very, very smart line of dialogue because very, very heavy foreshadowing.
For sure. Well, and have you seen, I'll send it to you the next time I see it, but is it a meme? Anyway, there's a photo of Belly and Conrad at the Deb Ball looking at each other with a space in between them before the dance starts. And then they're in the exact same position at the rehearsal. And Belly is looking at Conrad and Conrad's looking down and Jeremiah's in between them. But the positioning lines up perfectly. And then some people have like erased Jeremiah from the photo. And the distance between them is exactly the same, which has to be on purpose. Often Conrad is positioned in between Jeremiah and Belly. And then we have that shift narratively to like Jeremiah is positioned between Belly and Conrad. So yeah. I mean, obviously do bake now, only special occasions. I don't know. What have I done? It has to be like, chills.
Yeah.
Chills.
Yeah. It was like confirmation of everything that you were starting to realize was going on, everything that you secretly hoped was going on.
Yeah.
Everything that, let's be honest, Belly has secretly hoped was going on this whole time. Right?
Well, and I think everyone in the fandom was like, last season we got a Jeremiah point of view episode. So we have to be getting a Jeremiah point of view episode or a Conrad point of view episode. And which one is it going to be? And then we found out that Jenny Han was directing episode 5. And it was like, okay, it's episode 5. It's going to be episode 5. It's coming, you know, and sure enough.
The game is afoot.
Okay, Easter eggs, the cake plate that I already mentioned, empty at Christmas, now full of muffins. The painting above her dresser in her room is now her launching herself into the water, which was before, I think, her swimming in the pool. Other things in Belly's room back in Philadelphia. There's a colorful boa that looks like the one Conrad wore in the party store. I'm pretty sure it is that one. She has the picture of her and Conrad in the mirror where Conrad's half hidden. So it's a selfie that she's taking and Conrad's behind her. We never saw her take that photo in the show, but it was like a still that was released, like a behind the scenes still. And maybe it's in that when she's looking through her photos in her camera in the beginning of season 2. Anyway, it's shoved up in the mirror. So like Conrad is like half visible, but why do you have that photo, Belly? Like the pillow that she has her feet on when she's putting on the Band-Aid has a crocheted sun on it. And in the last morning of this episode, Belly's in a cherry print dress that is like has red cherries on it. And again, red cherries are a motif that appear again and again in this show, like daisies. I don't know what they mean. These definitely appear over and over again. She also mentions to Jer that she's going to crack open her GRE prep books, which is something that Conrad brings up in the next episodes. Yeah, there's others, I'm sure, but that's what I saw.
Has she said why she's taking the GR?
Yeah, because she's going to do a master's. Oh, not yet. No.
She hasn't said yet.
Well, we just know she wants to study sports psychology. So maybe like she's going to do a master's degree, I guess. You know what I haven't? Okay, people, let me know. Where's the glass unicorn? Is it in her room? I didn't notice it was in her room in Cousins. Where is it, guys? Because, you know, she didn't put the glass. She put Junior Min away, we learn later. But where is the glass unicorn? God damn it. I'm going to have to go look. Or help me out and tell me where it is.
Oh, that was a really cool Easter egg that somebody pointed out in our comments. It was a late comment for, I think it was 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
Somebody said that when Conrad is telling Agnes in the bar that he's been in love once, it was a 10 out of 10. He goes outside to call Belly that there's like a neon polar bear sign.
Yes.
In the view behind him, which I did not notice.
You really have to like freeze frame every little shot in the show. Color theory, as I said before, to me it's all backwards, but we do get the insight that her favorite color is blue. So Conrad is blue, right? Like Conrad dresses in blue. Conrad's wearing all blue in the kitchen. Conrad's
in this episode,
towel,
he's very blue.
White and blue.
That is why I wore blue today. Like, well, I don't know what's going on with this, but if Conrad's blue today, then, you know.
I don't know. Jeremiah was red. Daylight theory, there's always a glowy light around Belly and Conrad. And just the way the whole kitchen was lit is very reminiscent of the way we're going to see that Conrad sees Belly, which is the entire next episode, bathed in sunlight. Mirroring, they both think back to Christmas, just like they both thought back to their first time at Christmas. So it all leads back to Christmas, right? The Belly moment, and then that moment, right after that moment in Christmas 2.0, they both flash back to their first time in the room where it happened. All right, let's get into the songs because there's a lot to talk about here. First of all, there's the song Heartbeats by Jose Gonzalez, which is another one of those songs that really became connected with the show for me. But I had never actually gone and read the lyrics before. But like one night of magic rush, the start of a simple touch, one night to push and scream, and then relief, 10 days of perfect hues, the colors red and blue. We had a promise made, we were in love. It really fits. Somebody also mentioned that at the memorial when she sees him, there's heartbeats in the background. I didn't go and look. I'm going to look. But that's crazy work if that's true. And then, of course, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. Like, oh, yeah. But whose point of view is that from? Whose point of view is Landslide from? Is it from Conrad's point of view or is it from Belly's point of view? What do you think?
Murky,
right? But anyway, obviously, I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain, I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till a landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing because I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. I mean, that definitely to me is Belly. Like, she built her life around Jeremiah, I think.
I think there's so many ways. I mean, you were pointing out earlier that this episode seems like it's almost more about Laurel and Belly.
Yeah.
You can kind of see that. And this is one of those songs that could mean a lot of different things.
Yeah. Well, and that is a moment, like, she's just been remembering Susanna and and then that's when she starts to cry and that's when Landslide starts playing. But it's also this, like, that's Conrad walking down the hall towards her also. I don't know. It's when that started playing, I was like, that's rough. I love this song and that is rough.
Yeah.
All right. Taylor is not in this episode because she's not back with Conrad yet. So not yet. She's still holding her heart back. So what Taylor song would you have used?
Death by 1,000 Cuts.
That is brutal.
Well, I think it fits the what have I done?
I ask the traffic lights if I'm going to be all right. They say, I don't know. I love that line.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Oof,
I'm trying to figure out which part is
what
the
part
most.
To read?
I don't know. Yeah. The morning comes and you're not my baby is very like on the nose for what's happening, you know? I look through the windows.
Flashbacks waking me up. I get drunk, but it's not enough, right?
Yeah. Chandelier is still flickering here because I can't pretend it's okay when it's not. It's Death by 1,000 Cuts. I mean, he is pretending that it's okay, but
yeah.
You know, every time she looks away, he looks like he's going to die, to quote you. So
I see you everywhere. The only thing we share is this small town. You said it was a great love, one for the ages, but if the story's over, why am I still writing pages? Yeah, I have thoughts about who Death by 1,000 Cuts is about. Thoughts.
I don't.
Unconfirmed. Well, I just think I guess once we've learned about her sort of 10-year situationship with Maddie, it feels like any song that's about like the thing that didn't work out, like the one or whatever, is maybe about him. It could also be about Joe. Like, it was written in the Joe period. They broke up and got back together, I think, a bunch of times. And so it could be about that. Interestingly, it's a song that Travis pointed to that he really likes, because if you haven't seen her perform this at her Tiny Desk concert,
I have.
Yeah. So he called that out. Which I think is so cute. He went back and he was already a Swiftie, but he went back and watched her stuff. So I love that.
I really like the part that says what once was ours is no one's now. Because I think that fits interestingly here, because it's not necessarily saying you're not with somebody else now. It's saying you don't have what we had. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It fits this specific situation.
I agree. And I'm just noticing this line, I look through the windows of this love, and then she has that song on the Tortured Poets Department about looking through windows. Anyway, okay, so the song that I would use is I Almost Do, which is off of Red. I bet this time of night you're still up. I bet you're tired from a long, hard week. I bet you're sitting in your chair by the window looking out at the city. And I bet sometimes you wonder about me. And I just want to tell you, it takes everything in me not to call you. And I wish I could run to you. And I hope you know that every time I don't, I almost do. I almost do. I think this is from Conrad's point of view in that moment. Replacing Landslide is here are all the things I want to say to you. You think I either moved on or hate you because each time you reach out, there's no reply because he left her on red at Christmas. I bet it never occurred to you that I can't say hello to you and risk another goodbye. I just want to tell you, it takes everything in me not to call you, and I wish I could run to you, and I hope you know that every time I don't, I almost do. I almost do. I mean, it's his song for Belly, I think.
I mean, totally. I'm not, with both of these songs, I'm not so sure that it's not the other way too.
Yeah, no, of course. Yes.
I mean, that's what makes it great. That's what makes it so great.
Could work,
right?
Yeah, it could work for both of them.
Yeah,
I
mean, Belly is still looking through the windows of the love, even though she boarded them up. She's trying not to, but she is still looking through. And then in this, she wishes she could run him. I mean, she literally jumps out of bed and runs down the stairs to him instead of calling Jeremiah back, as you pointed out. So obviously, she's still in denial about all of these things. But
well, and again, the window analogy,
his point of view.
Yeah.
Now.
The window again, like Peter, the woman who sat by the window, has turned out the light. Like, I need to do a whole thing about windows and Taylor. But anyway, yeah. All right, question for Jenny Han.
I don't know if I have a question for Jenny. I don't know. I guess I would ask why landslide. It is an interesting choice. It's kind of an ambiguous choice in a way.
I think we're shifting musically also. So, like, we'll see next episode. I think people thought when we got Conrad's point of view was going to be all Radiohead and Weezer and, like we were going to get Teenage Dirtbag and whatever, right? And then it ended up being like Otis Redding. And this is a bit of that musical shift, Landslide and old song, classics. The song that's playing in that last scene with them is also like an older song, a classic. So, no, that's not right. Maybe but it sounds like that. It's a Billie Eilish song that's playing at the end. I can't remember, but whatever it is, it's like, we're shifting toward that, like, yes, he listens to classics. He's like, they're out of time, like not like out of time and out of time, but there's just like a classicness to them. So I think that's part of it. He just he's an old soul and they have an old connection and they will connect in every universe, it's not going to be like, what's the latest pop hit? I mean, my question is, why won't Belly eat Conrad's muffins? It just sounds dirty when I say it, but like,
and that's exactly how you mean it, Catherine.
She wants that cookie.
You're like, she's gonna have the best birthday of her life in 1 year. Buckle up,
hell
sister.
Yes.
I mean, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
Yes.
She has this very day to thank for all of that, because I guess it bears repeating. She did offer to leave. I think she kind of knows this is trouble. Conrad and I stay in this house together. This is trouble, and I don't know if I can resist
it's trouble.
It.
Of course.
Right. But like we talked about, or at least I was pretty hung up in Christmas 2.0 about how she never offers to leave. Right. Like she's like, oh, Conrad's here. And she's like, well, I'm also here. She never offers to leave. Whereas this time she immediately is like, I should probably go. He obviously has some stuff to sort through. I don't know where I'm going to go. And she plays through all of her options. Jeremiah never suggests one option. I do think he's a little bit testing her, but she does. I think it's significant that she offers to leave, and probably would have gone down very different if she had not stayed.
Well, she doesn't offer to Conrad to leave.
No, not to him.
No. I mean, Conrad is saying he's leaving.
He's saying he's leaving. Right.
I mean, he's being vague. He's like, oh, yeah, I got to like book my flight,
Right.
So, right. And as I mentioned before, we'll see Belly, the detective, get to the bottom of this in the next episode. Yeah. I mean, where could she go? If she went home, then she said
she could go with her dad. She said, but my dad does what my mom says. But we actually already know from seeing the conversation between John and Laurel that he's already told her mom that he's going to show up for her. So actually, if she had shown up on John's doorstep, it probably would have been fine.
She could have gone to Taylor's. She clearly could have gone to Taylor's. She probably also could have gone and stayed with her brother. She had options. The real question is, why is Jeremiah pushing her to stay there? That's the real question. What is literally going through his brain?
Especially knowing that he does know about Christmas and that neither of them have ever told him. So he has to know that this is going to mess with his head.
Well, and especially like coming back at the end in the wedding, like when they're breaking up and he says, and fuck you for making me think that nothing was going on when like something was going on all summer, which comes out of nowhere because like, what are you talking about? You never talked about that with Belly, and we'll talk about that in that episode, but like he's testing her, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Or he knows that she's going to, maybe on some level, he already knows she's going to pass the test and he's never going to get up the guts to call this off. So he's like, you fuck this up. Like, I know you're going to
Well, that's it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think on some level, he's like, I know you're going to end up back with Conrad.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to let you be the one to do it because I'm not going to be the bad guy here.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I tried to blow us up by sleeping with Lacey Barone, and somehow you took me back. So now I need to blow things up. Yeah, I don't know what is going through that.
Interesting.
Man,
Yeah,
I was
it is
going to call him
interesting.
something bad, but I don't know what's going through that man's mind.
I mean,
But
on the rewatch, it does seem like a lot of things are clear to a lot of people. So, I don't know.
No, but he's definitely pushing her to stay there. Definitely. I mean, he's
But
also
thank
pushing her
goodness.
to say,
But
of
thank
course,
goodness.
yes. But he's also pushing her to say why she couldn't leave. And you know what? Look, even if Conrad had left, he would have come back for the wedding. And I think it all would have went down the same way. Because ultimately, the minute that Conrad found out that Jeremiah was not the safe choice for Belly, which he thought that he was, then it was over. He was going to tell Belly how he felt. So it all would have went down the same anyway, in my view.
Maybe. She wouldn't have been in such a doubtful headspace. I think she is better at pushing it out of her mind when he's not there.
Agreed. But also, they only need to be together for 5 minutes for her to be thinking about how she loves him. So
also true. Also true.
And again, missed timeline, that's me. They don't actually spend that much time together in this show. We're going to see next week. Like, yes, they're in the same house, but they don't. We see most of the time that they spend together. It's not that much. So, all right. This means that episode 5 is coming, my friends. And like, let's just be honest, it's not going to be a short one. But I have a question for the audience. Do we need to watch anything after Jeremiah shows up? Do we have to watch that part? Like, do we have to? All right, we do, but I don't want to. I don't want to. It's devastating.
Well, it's going to be great. It's about to get really juicy. And Catherine's researching muffin recipes and everything to get herself in the mood.
There's behind the scenes of them making the muffins with Jenny Han. They make the dirt bombs, Lola, Chris, and Jenny. So,
is that recipe available?
It is available.
Okay, great.
You want me to send it to you?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're making muffins before the next episode?
All right. So we've already established that we have no way of knowing what Susanna would have wanted, but I think we do know. We know what she would have wanted people to do next week, right?
Right. Tune in. Nice try it. Like, all right. Tune in next week because
it's what Susanna would have wanted no matter what Laurel says.
Yeah, Laurel doesn't know shit. She doesn't know shit about fuck, to quote another show. Okay. And on that note, folks, thanks so much for being here. Bye.